Hey guys. Ooh, I gotta move my stuff. Look. How are we doing today? Got back from vacation, honey. I'm real relaxed. As you can see, I am real relaxed. But I'm glad to be on Periscope with you guys tonight. Hello. It's been a couple weeks. I've been saying that I've been trying to come back on Wednesday nights to do Estheticians Have Conversations. I know a lot of people have been missing my conversation, and it's been summer. You know, the thing about summer is that summer's unpredictable. I have traveled a lot, and I kind of stopped doing periscopes because I've had quite a few feedback. I actually got another crazy feedback today. If you're not in my group, I shared it today from a young esthetician who expects me to give not only free advice but give what she wants to give. And that's actually become the phenomenon I find with a lot of younger estheticians, is they're not willing to put the work in. They're not wanting to understand that when you become an esthetician, your experience is gained on the job, and your experience as an esthetician is also gained on the job. So not only do you learn how to become better, how to become more accurate with your eye as far as looking at conditions of the skin, comfortable with talking to people, letting them know the progress and what's going to happen, that experience cannot be emulated. It can't be told. It can't be something you try to put down on a resume, because it's impossible to do that. So this young lady wanted me to, talk about, and this is not the first time I've had someone say that, about how to write a resume or what to say on an interview. Hey, or what to, what else did she said a lot of crazy things. But my whole thing is, I've always been an esthetician where I have talked to small business owners or solo estheticians. That's always been my passion. Hey, it's been my passion to talk to estheticians who have already had on-the-job training. They knew that they wanted to become she was very rude, knew they wanted to become a solo esthetician, and so they transitioned from working for someone to working on their own. That's always been my niche, because that, I felt, was where most estheticians kind of lose that connection. You know, when you're in a room with yourself and you're by yourself for days on end, or all you see is estheticians, and you don't have the opportunity to get out and get training or go to a show, you lose a little bit of understanding of what actually happens in our industry, because you're focused on growing your clientele, seeing people, getting them in, getting your products, marketing, all of that. So you kind of lose a little bit of touch with people when you're in that box for so long. And that's been my strong point, is because I have been able to not only limit and decide what I want to do when I'm in my treatment room, but I actually have branched out into different things that still earn me income but allow me to do what I like to do. I had someone ask me, what did she say? I want to see, like, where you work and where you do whatever. You don't need to see anything. What are you doing? What do you need to see with me? I'm confused. I'm the one that has, 14 years in the industry. I don't need to show you anything, to be honest. And, where's your, what did she say? Where's your staff? Why aren't you showing people how to do with stuff? I don't deal. My expertise and experience has been in as a solo esthetician who transferred from working for someone for a year to becoming a skincare rep, to working on my own, to getting a spa, having employees, and then going back to my own, because I realized as having employees, it's a huge expense. Employees are overhead. I made most of my money working for myself, which most estheticians who are in this industry make more money when they work for themselves. What is it that I always say? The illusion or the fantasy of owning a spa. You pay people more than you make yourself. That's the reality of it. And I don't have a problem saying that. But at the end of the day, for me, I'm here sharing my experiences. And you have people have questions like that. They need to address their instructors at school. This little girl ain't in school. See, that's the other problem. And that's the other problem we're finding with a lot of estheticians, that I find with a lot of estheticians, is you have a lot of estheticians who come out with the illusion of the lie that was perpetrated in beauty school. And then when they hit reality, the reality comes very, very different. The reality becomes, it becomes very specific. And the reality is a kick in the butt, if that makes sense. It's not a it's unfair, but it's also the responsibility of someone who gets their license. You will get what you put work in for. No one can tell you how to put that work in. No one can tell you it's going to take this long for you to be successful, or it has to be based off of your experience. I have been in an opportunity where I've had a lot of hard knocks. I've had a lot of things that have discouraged me, frustrated me. I've done a lot of stupid things when it's come to my money. I've done a lot of stupid things when it's come to buying things because I was lied to and saying if I bought this, it would generate this amount of money. Like, I share those experiences because that's my experience. So, when I talk to people who are, most people are struggling, and they're struggling because it's hard to understand the numbers game. And the numbers game is everything from how much you spend on your overhead to what you spend on products, how much it costs to do the service, what are the right hours, how many people can you take, how many people, can you get to buy product. I mean, all of it is a numbers game. And when at the end of the day, either you make enough numbers to cover the overhead for you to do the business, or you don't. And I find a lot of people don't. A lot of it's because they don't know their numbers. So when you make a decision on how much you want to charge for a service, it can't come from what other people are doing. It has to come specifically from what are your expenses. Take those expenses, add them all up, divide them by 30, and that's how much you have to make per day. So in order for you to cover those expenses per day, this is what you have to charge for that service to cover that expense. But people don't want to hear that. What they want to go and they want to do is they want to go out and say, well, these businesses in this area charge this amount of money and I should be able to charge it too. No, that's not how it works, because your expenses are not their expenses. So, if that's how you're doing business, in the long run, it won't work. Your expenses will always increase. If you don't know how much that machine costs, if you don't know how much that facial is for your cost, then you can't just throw a number out. It doesn't work like that. And I've really understood the power of paying myself. And I've said this in many periscopes before. I pay myself because I don't want to be in the situation where I am struggling and people know it. People know when you're desperate. They know when you need money. They know when rent is due. They know when you need to have products or there's no products on your shelf. People know. And social media has made it very simple for this behavior to be magnified because we're schizophrenic on there. One day we're like, oh, pamper yourself. Take care of yourself. Make sure you take care of yourself. Next day, $20 facial. It's a contradictory. But again, we do things and knee-jerk reactions when we don't understand that money is really why we are doing this. We earn a living and we earn enough to cover in order for this to reflect on giving us money at the end of the day. So when you have people that don't quite understand that, you get a very, for me, I get frustrated and sometimes I laugh because I find that it starts at the schools. It really does. The schools paint this unimaginable, very high expectation of making six figures by putting themselves in the same industry as a trade industry. When you go for mechanic school and you get a job, you don't make that much money. I mean, mechanics make good money, but most of them who've been in for a long time have a huge clientele and they're good at their job. I mean, any trade that you do, you don't go and get training and then turn around and make all these thousands of dollars. It doesn't really work like that. And I find that a lot of the schools, in order to get people into their program, which is also a business, I want to say that. Schools are a business. If you didn't know, they are. But in order for them to engage and get you in, they say things to people that is a trigger. That, well, you can get this and get your license and you can be earning blah, blah, blah. You can get this and get your license and be earning blah, blah, blah. I mean, it always comes back to, the unrealistic expectation of being an esthetician. Aesthetics is a very an ever-learning job. It's a job that you will always learn. It's not something that you master and then you get great at. No, you're always learning. And I think that that's part where a lot of us kind of miss the mark is yes, you can be great at what you do, But there's always something that you can learn and do a lot better. There's always things that you can do that will change the way, you're perceived. But it's just mind-boggling. You get into these groups and you start looking at stuff. And actually, by the way, I've really backed off from groups because a lot of it is a lot of talk. And I've come to the same conclusion. If you are that busy as you say you are, then you have no business in these groups talking all this madness. So there's two things that are happening. One, you're lying because you're not that busy. And two, you got a lot of time on your hands if you're in here these groups going back and forth and typing these paragraphs. You're not busy. I digress. But I share my experiences and I share what I do. I share how I make money. I share, how I create service menus and, how I get retention and how I get people to come back and how I do all these things. The reason I share them is because most people don't know. They don't know. So when you have someone and it's you look at them, it's like you have no idea the amount of time and energy and effort. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that you could, get a piece of paper and go get a job and think you're going to get 6 figures. No, honey, no. And then when you relay that reality, people want to blame and they want to finger point and they want to say, well, I live in a small town. People don't want to spend money. People don't want to do this. People won't do that. And I tell people, people will spend money on what they want to spend it on. If you make it so that it's something they want, they'll give you the money. And that's sales 101. And I've always said, I show everything. You come and you talk to me, I'm going to show you everything. I'm going to show you everything. You can make a decision. And the way I sell, I don't sell. I have conversations. And I've always said this, clients, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to get that today. Okay, so the results that you have today will last maybe 2 days. After that, your skin's going to be tore up again. So you're paying me money for a 2-day facial cleanse that's not going to be anything. Because you can't come to me and use these products and then go back and use your Neutrogena. It ain't going to work like that. And Neutrogena is the reason why your skin is the way it is, honey. But when you're ready, here, they'll be right here. And the reason I put it like that is because it's the truth. I'm not coming to you telling you, this luxurious product is going to get, no. I'm not selling you on that BS. I'm going to tell you, you're going to wash off what I've done in about 2 days. So if you want to continue to get the results that I'm giving you and you want to see your skin improve, this is what you need to do it. That's it. You want to go back to your Neutrogena, you're going to come back next month and you're going to have another 2-day good cleanse and then you're going to be back where you are. Now, here's the thing. The problem with what you're doing, it's going to age your face a lot faster. So if you're 42, you're going to be looking 52 here in a few months. So don't say that. I'm telling you the truth. It was and I have to say this, a lot of you guys know I went on vacation. I had it all over my Facebook page and had a fabulous time with my husband. This is our honeymoon 2 years later. But anyway, it was wonderful. But, the phenomenon, and I have to say this, because I have never understood the whole beach thing, right? You guys know my husband. I love him dearly. He's German. He's white. Black people, we don't go to the beach to lay out. I just don't. I don't. So this was an eye-opening experience for me because I don't need to lay out. So, we get there on Thursday. We have our own private little thing. If you see my videos, I had our own private little gate out to my beach. And we had people that came. It was 5-star, all inclusive. So they came and they give you towels and you get your buckets and, they'll give you your beer or your wine or whatever you want to drink. And, people just sit there and burn all day. I did not understand that. So I'm covered up, right? I have my big sun hat on. I have my bathing suit on, but I'm completely in the shade. I have my towels. I have my iPad and my cell phone because the Wi-Fi went all the way to the beach, which I loved. And I'm sitting there looking at the water, but I'm looking at all these red people. And I told my husband, I said, what is going on? Why are they all red? He's like, baby, you got to get red before you get brown. Brown? They're all red. I'm confused. And some of these people have no business in these bikinis, men and women. But that's here nor there. Why are they red? Like, I didn't understand. I still don't understand it. So, you know, my husband does not get brown. He's brown now, but he's red. My bless his heart, I love him, but just red. So, you know, we bought our big industrial size, you know, sun protection. And so we bring my 2 cans out, you know, and I spray Rudy down, and I'm, you know, spraying his head and spraying everything and spraying and turn around, baby. And I'm spraying, and I'm literally doing this all over his back and this on his legs. I'm lifting up the swim trunks. I mean, I'm just, you know, just dousing him. And so I gave it to him, and he's like, okay. So then I get out, and I put my hands out. You should have seen all the people turn to their chairs, talking about, I said, you think I'm going to get black out here with you? Oh, no, honey, not today. Not today. So Rudy goes and sprays me, and I'm out there, got my arms up, and I'm getting sprayed, and I'm, you know, he's going by my neck, because, you know, I have my sun protection on, so he's spraying my neck and back of my neck, and spraying and lifting up, you know, I got my booty and lifting up and spraying my feet and everything. You should have seen them people breaking their necks. Honey, I ain't getting black out here with you. No. So after I did my spray routine, and I'm laying there, you know, got my stuff and got my hat on, I told Rudy, I said, okay, let's go into the water. Now, see, here's another thing I don't understand about the beach. I learned, okay? I learned on vacation. You just go in the water just to go in the water. Like, you just go in there. I am a respecter of the water, right? I believe if I can't touch the bottom, I ain't going. So I'll go as far as I can touch the bottom. But past touching the bottom, oh no, I'm not going. No. So my husband, as you know, he's big. My husband's 6'2", so we holding hands or walking down the beach. Because, you know, they're still staring because I had sun protection on. So I'm walking down the beach, and I'm just looking, and I'm like, oh, okay, baby. You know, I'm walking, shaking my butt, you know. And so it's time for us to get into the water. So I'm like, okay, you know, shoot, honey, please, ain't nothing. So I get in there, and that first wave hit. I'm like, oh I don't know. And my husband's holding my hand. He's like, come on, baby. So I'm like, okay. And so we keep walking, right? We're walking, and the water's like coming up. No, I wasn't ready. And the water's coming up, but then the waves, you know, see, and I didn't know you have to jump in the wave. So the wave, you know, knocks you back, and he's still dragging me, and I'm like, oh, ah. So we get in there, right? Because he said you got to get past the wave where it breaks. You got to go where it's calm. See, I didn't know that, right? So I'm in there, and I went, and, you know, Rudy's holding on to me. And he's like, okay, baby, so when the waves come, you gotta jump into the wave. What am I jumping into a wave for? I'm confused. So, you know, you jump into the wave. So I guess I didn't jump into the wave fast enough, because, you know, my pole hat got knocked. You know, I had salt water in my mouth, and back of my hat got wet. So I climbed on to Rudy. So, you know, folks thought, I don't know what they thought we was doing out there. We wasn't doing nothing. I was holding on for my life. So I hold on to Rudy, and Rudy one-armed me. So when the waves come, he just throw me up and then get me back down. So after 10 minutes of that, I was ready to go right on back, and sure did. Went right on back to the beach, honey. Yes, I did. Bring me my water. Sat right there. He's looking at me like, yep. Sat right back down. So that was lovely. I was in the ocean. Thank you, Lord. Yes, the waters, they cleansed. They cleansed. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. So then I'm sitting back there. But the phenomenon of how many people burned, like on purpose, it was mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling on two parts. One, because I'm an esthetician, but two, I don't understand. You knowingly burn yourself. It's different. It's different. And then I think they had a burn treatment at the spa. So I think the spa understands that whole beach burning thing. So they had like a I remember I should have took a picture of it, but it's a treatment to treat people who purposely get sunburns. They have a body treatment, they wrap you up, they do all this stuff, and I'm just like, you burn on purpose? Why? But I loved every time we went to the beach, what, baby, 4 times, 5 times, 4 times, and every time I'd spray Rudy down, and then I would spray. Honey, it without fail. Them, and you have seen people, they be laid out, they have their glasses on, they look up. Yes, I'm spraying. I ain't getting black out here with you. No, I'm not. Not gonna do it. So then we get back in, and I got a little bit of sun. I don't think you can see it anymore. Yeah, you can still see it a little bit. But Rudy was like, baby, you got a suntan. No, I don't want that. I like my chocolate. I'm good. I don't need to be black. I don't need to be darker. I'm good. But he, the phenomenon of skincare and the understanding of the skin, we will never not have a job, is really what I'm saying. Because, it's mind-boggling the amount of people who just damage themselves knowingly that it can lead to different things, but they do it on purpose. And that's the part that I was really sad about, because, the assumption that, darker skins can't get skin cancer, that's a lie. Black people get skin cancer and darker hues get skin cancer just like everybody else. Now, it's not as common because it's not as, and there's actually an article on it. Angela, I think, posted an article about how melanoma for darker skin tones is ignored and is killing people because they're not looking at it the same way that you look at it on lighter hues. So it's not to say that it's not there. My whole thing is that I understand the skin, even for my husband. You should see, honey. I mean, when I said I sprayed him down, I sprayed him down. Head, neck, chin, face. Look, baby, rotate your arm. Look, I had to do it like I was spray tanning. Rotate your hand out, please. Put your arm up over your head. Point your toe. Turn around. I mean, spraying every part. Because the sun is potent. And a lot of us don't understand the UVA, UVB, and UVC. And I've had this conversation before with a lot of people. The whole misconceptions of sunscreen and sunblock and why it's hard for you to find a physical sunblock. It's just crazy. You said that's how you do your husband. He's fair skinned and turns red as lobster. I mean, Rudy just burnt. He just red. He don't even tan. He just red. Bless his heart. It just red. And I'm just up there like, baby, you need to spray me down. And of course, he's so nonchalant. I think that's the thing where people were just so surprised. I mean, I turned around, honey, look. Spray me down, baby, huh? Get that thigh in there. Get the inner thigh, too. We will always have a job. What will define our jobs is our knowledge. Our knowledge is what defines how well of an esthetician we're going to be. Not the knowledge on the product and not the knowledge on the machine, but our knowledge of skin. And that's why I think for myself, I've always been someone who I love understanding skin. I love listening to someone who talks skin nerd conversations, because the skin is a fascinating thing. It's not just a one thing, there's a lot of conversations right now about oils. Matter of fact, oh baby, you can't go get it. I snatched the massage balm that they used on our massages. It is phenomenal. And it really showed me that when you go and you get services and you're looking at other stuff, the oil is a thicker balm that emulsifies, but it's a beautiful massage balm. And I told him, I said, do you sell this? I would love to have it. And I said, they said, no, we don't sell it. We only use it in the back treatment room. I said, well, I need a sample. So they got me a sample. I'm actually going to call the company. I think it's a Spanish company out of Barcelona. And they sell like the skincare part. I'm like, I don't want no skincare. I want the balm. You need to sell that. That's what you use. You use what you sell, whatever. But it's understanding what the education, that's what gives us our expertise. People listen to us when we talk from a skincare point of view, not a product. And I think that's where a lot of us have lost our kind of fire, is we see all of these products that are being manufactured. They use us estheticians as beta tests and test sites. They turn around, sell it directly to the public, allow them to have it on Amazon and eBay and Facebook and whatever. And it's disheartening, but it's understanding you can do whatever you want to do. I've talked to lots, probably thousands of estheticians, and I've always said my biggest income boost came when I private labeled. It just did. Clients had to come to me because it was my product. It wasn't a product they could go home and Google or go look on, Instagram, go look on Facebook or, eBay or Amazon. That was when things turned. It was when my retention went up because they had to come to me to get it. It's not like they can go home and do a search and buy it direct. And that's when I started learning the schools of estheticians or aesthetics. Every product line that's available out there eventually will go public. So my energy and effort never went into those product lines. My energy and effort went into putting dollars into my pocket. And that's really the truth. There's no reason for us to, and there's a lot of companies now that do low private label that, you only can buy 2 or 3 products. You don't have to buy, back in the day when I was doing, you had to buy like 100 bottles, and you had to buy a gallon and bottle it yourself. I mean, it was crazy stuff. But it changed the way I looked at aesthetics because I didn't come from a product background. I never said, okay, this product is where, this is what I'm going to do. No. I came from ingredients. I know the ingredients. If all the ingredients are the same here, then I don't have to worry about it. I can use whatever I want. But it wasn't until I understood that part. And that took a lesson. The only reason I understood it was because the product I was selling showed up in Sephora. And that's a lesson that I would never want on anybody. It's a kick in the gut when you work all this hard to bring thousands of dollars of product in, and you walk into a Sephora or a Nordstrom's or, a Ulta, and it's sitting right there. That's a kick in the gut. Or you have a client that comes to you and say, oh yeah, I bought it here and it was a little bit cheaper, so I'm going to go ahead and keep buying it. What? Somehow? It's a hard lesson, but it's the lesson that has been repeated in our industry. This is not anything new. And I find it so hard when you try to tell new estheticians, do not invest in that. Invest in you, your brand, your product. Don't put money into someone else's pocket. Don't do it, especially if you don't have their loyalty. And that's one thing that I've had with, say, Brazil, even with our retail products. You don't find it online. People do well with it because they buy it from their esthetician. And understanding that, is the bigger picture. Can you do something and can you have something where they have to come back to you for? That's what will bring your loyalty. That's what will build your clientele. It won't be off of a product. And some of us have gotten so product driven and so product focused that we lose. At the end, you lose. Even if you get a little bit of dollars in your pocket now, you lose. You do. I'll never forget, I started with Dermalogica. Dermalogica was in my school. They made a pretty penny off of us buying products from the school. My first job was with Dermalogica. My first job was with DDF. I mean, I had Dermalogica, DDF. I had Murad. I had Decleor. I had, who else was in there? Zibagati, B. Caymans. Who else was in there? I'm trying to think of all the bottles. All those products were when I first started my first job, It was a Dermalogica, before they did Dermalogica concept-based products. I mean, I had a lot of products I had to learn. And that was why, coming from my background and then learning from on my first job, I had to know all of those ingredients for different products. I had to know what skin types would work on that. It wasn't, it wasn't a, here's a chart. This is their skin type. This is the product. It wasn't like that. And most of those products are in Sephora because that is the evolution of retail skincare products. But it's the bigger picture. It's what is it that you want to do? I share my knowledge and my experiences, so in the hopes that people don't do the same mistakes that I did. And I tell people, don't invest when they tell you it's a $4,000 or $5,000 investment. Don't give them that money. You don't need to. Yes, the product is beautiful. Yes, you love the way it feels. You love the way it smells. They have marketing materials all up. You're not paying for the product. You're paying the company. You're giving them money. In the end, it will go bad and you will lose. They won't. So think long and hard. You know, I remember when I started Jane Aerodel, my opening order was $250. Now, I think to open a Jane Aerodel account, it's $2,500, $5,000, something like that. Crazy. You know, training 2 new estheticians today, and I focused on the ingredients and the product. Exactly. It's just, you have to put in perspective. Your most, and I've said this on many periscopes, most ingredients are the same in majority of our skincare products. There is nothing that is new technology or a new product. It's not. No, it is. Most of them have the same ingredients. They may add 1 or 2 different, but you know, it's just, it's crazy. I don't quite understand when you have so many different products and the same ingredients that we put one over the other. You know, it's just not, it's not needed. All of them have the same ingredients. What you want to focus on, 1 is always the price point, but 2, how is it going to benefit your business? Not benefit your client. How is this product line going to benefit my business? Is it something that I'm going to have for short term? Is it something that, you know, are they growing so fast where eventually I can see them going public? Like, you really got to look at long term. You know, and I know a lot of us get stuck where we love this product line and we love what they do and we love it, we love it, we love it. At the same time, you can do what you do with that with something else. It's not the product, it's what you do with it. Because all of them are the same. They are. What do you want to do with it? How are you using it? You know, I can beat a dead horse with that. It's really, 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 really the truth. And it's been the truth over and over again. And I've seen this with many product lines over and over again. They start off small. They love estheticians. They have wholesale accounts. The wholesale grows the business. They share it with their customers. The customers then in turn inquire to the manufacturer, can we buy it from you? We'll pay retail price. And then that door gets open. And then we all know the rest of the story. That's how it goes. Verbatim. Exactly just like that. But it comes down to, what is it that we want? You know, I've had estheticians that have reached out to me, and I had a conversation when I was on vacation. I said, our biggest fear is we're not going to make enough. We're never going to be able to go on vacation and still earn an income. Those are really true and honest things that happen as an esthetician and as a business owner. When do you go on vacation? Can you afford to stop working for 3 days to enjoy time with your family, but also not make an income? I mean, those are things that no one talks about. Those are things that no one discusses because it's almost a taboo conversation. It's a taboo topic because most people don't know how to balance that. Like, at what point do you say, you know what, we're going to go on vacation, we're going to enjoy our time because we work so hard, but we also know we're not going to have an income when we're on vacation. I mean, that's a scary thing to do. That's a scary thing to admit, to be honest. If we admit to ourselves that, you know, what we bring home is what we eat, if we don't work, we don't eat, that's a hard truth to stomach, or stomach, you know, the truth. For me, it's always been, okay, can I have multiple streams that'll give me income whether I work or if I'm on vacation? Yes. Did I start off doing that? No. I worked like a dog. I probably didn't take my first real true vacation until 8-9 years into being a solo business owner because I could never afford to do it. I did not think bigger. All I thought was day to day, week to week, month to month. I did not think that in order for me to be rejuvenated, or in order for me to come back and say yes, you know, and be re-energized, that I had to take a break. I didn't equate the two. All I equated is my books are full, my clients are coming in, I have a child, I have to be able to provide for her. That's really what I did. I really did not factor in me understanding being a business owner should have flexibility. I didn't see it that way. All I saw was I was in the building stage. I have to build my clientele. I have to build up people. I have to build this. I have to build that. I never thought about, okay, so when it's built, when do you say, let's take a break? Or let's do something for me? Or, can I take a day or two off? Can I do that? So, it's really, it's hard to balance being a business owner and starting a business and having a successful business and also doing vacation or taking days for yourself. When you get sick, having to rebook people, or a child that you have gets sick, how do you rebook them? How do you get around that when you're a solo business owner? Those are all things that we never discuss. We never discuss because we don't want to discuss those, because those are not technically money-making activities. And that's the biggest thing about money-making activities, is that can they make you money when you're not physically in your office or not physically doing a service? Can you still earn income? And that's where the balance for me has really come, because we have a true shelf life. My husband was asking, because we finally, how do you rebook clients, especially when clients are fickle? A lot of it comes to marketing. I like to do incentives. If clients rebook and they keep their appointment, there's an incentive. If they don't, then they don't get the incentive. I think it really depends on what you're offering. If you have someone who, if you have a type of business that's really a walk-in business, and most, beginning businesses have walk-in options. I've never did. I always was appointment only. But if you have it where someone can walk in and get a service, it's hard to really get someone to rebook when they feel all they can do is walk in. I don't make appointments for my pedicures because I know I can walk into a nail salon and get it. But that's how it's set up. So it really depends on what you're marketing. But Rudy was saying, look at all these people, we got couples massage, and he was like, baby, she was working. I mean, her whole body, she was working and rotating. And I told him, I said, body working, aesthetics is all physical labor. He's like, how long do you think someone can do that day in and day out? I said, not very long. I mean, massage is body work. Aesthetics is body work. You're sitting, you're bending, you're rotating. If you're waxing and removing and doing body waxing, all of it is body work. So at some point, you have to understand, how long can my body do this day in and day out? How long can I continually do this? Or can I mix it up? Or how can I do that? It's really understanding, what we do. And that was my thing. I never wanted to be someone that I worked myself to death, where I had carpal tunnel. I couldn't hold the phone, or I couldn't do things. I couldn't type. I never wanted to work my hands to the point where, and I talked to a lot of estheticians who've been in the business 20, 25 years. They're getting those repetitive injuries. They're getting those repetitive injuries with their shoulders and their back, because this is a very, it's body included services that we do. We are working. And that's the thing where you got to kind of understand, if I can only do this job so long until my body says I can't, how else can I continue to earn income and live the way I want to live? And that's always been the balance for me. And that's why I share what I do. Today I shared on my Facebook page, if anyone interested in earning $1,000 a day, check my comments and I show you how I do it. Not $1,000 a day. Oh my God. $1,000 a month. Click the comments, see what I'm doing, see how I'm sharing information. It's very simple. But it's something that I don't have to physically look at. It's something that I just share, and people look at it, they decide if they want to use it, and they go from there. I mean, I really try to do things that are very non-physical inclusive. I don't have to do a whole lot. That's how I do it. And you can too. And that's the thing where I like to share with people. It's not about, everything that you do. I still, yes, I still do the royalty gems, which I love. Those are simple. If you have a business and you want to share the business, it's easy. It's really deciding on, okay, this is what I want to do. I love it. I'm going to do it. And this is my game plan. So you get a piece of paper, you write your game plan out. This is how long I want to take. This is where I want to be at the end of the year. I want to make, and I've told you guys this story. I have my vision board over here. I've always, I start off making $100 a day. And then I start off doing, $500 a day. And then I did $1,000 a day. Now it's at $2,000 a day. And I really made my whole business plan about making sure that that was my goal. It was very, very simple. And in making those goals, I made decisions that fell into those goals. Some of us need to have a simple goal of, I need to make, $100 a day. I need to make, whatever. I need to make a car note, or I need to make enough money to pay my car, or enough money to pay my rent where I live. All of us have goals. It's once you write it down and you make that strategic plan to do it, that's when things change. And that's what I've done, and that's what I share. It's interesting when you see people who are like, oh, everything is great, but then you come and you buy a can of wax. If everything is so great, then you should be purchasing enough for the entire quarter. I have some accounts that buy twice a year, so they buy enough stock for 6 months. Are you there yet? And most people are like, 6 months? Oh my God. Yeah. She got free shipping, and she got 20% on top of that, because she buys when we do a special, and she buys for 6 months. Oh, yep. You got to know your numbers. You got to absolutely know your numbers. What time is it? Oh gosh, I've been gone over than I would have. All right, guys, check in with me. I'm going to try to come back and do Periscopes on Wednesdays. I'm going to be sharing them onto my Facebook page. Again, check my Facebook page. If you're in my Smooth Skin Supply group, I have lots of new stuff that we're going to be bringing forth and discussing and chatting. We've had some great conversations the last couple days. So if you're not in my Smooth Skin Supply group, please jump in there. But I'm going to sign off, and I will check in with you guys, and we'll chat. Well, I'll come back on Wednesday next week. I'm trying to think. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, Wednesday next week. All right, guys. Have a good night. Bye.